The modern workplace is not built on talent alone. It is built on communication. Every opportunity, every promotion, every leadership role, and every successful team begins with how well people understand each other. Skills open the door, but communication decides how far you go. In today's fast-moving professional world, ideas move at the speed of conversation. Decisions are shaped by words. Trust is built through tone. Respect is earned through clarity. This book is your guide to mastering workplace communication from the inside out. It will reshape how you speak, listen, connect, influence, and lead. Because when you understand communication, you understand power. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Workplace Communication. Every workplace runs on conversation. Every decision begins with words. Every project moves forward through understanding, and every failure starts where communication breaks. The modern workplace is not driven only by skills or intelligence. It is driven by clarity, by alignment, by the ability to connect human minds toward a shared goal. Communication is not what you say, it is what people understand. A message is not complete when it leaves your mouth. It is complete when it reaches the other person's mind exactly as you intended. This is the foundation of workplace communication. Many professionals believe communication is about talking well, but talking is only one small part of it. True communication is about creating shared meaning. It is about building a bridge between two minds. In the workplace, every email, every meeting, every instruction, every presentation is a test of this bridge. If the bridge is weak, confusion grows. If the bridge is strong, progress accelerates. Strong communication turns ideas into action. Weak communication turns effort into waste. The workplace is a living system. It breathes through conversation. It moves through coordination. It grows through collaboration. When communication flows clearly, the system works smoothly. When communication breaks down, even the most talented teams fall apart. The foundation of communication begins with awareness. Awareness of your own intent, awareness of your audience, awareness of the environment, awareness of timing, awareness of emotional tone. Without awareness, words become noise. With awareness, words become tools. In the workplace, people do not just exchange information. They exchange expectations. They exchange responsibility. They exchange trust. Every message carries weight. Every tone sends a signal. Every silence speaks. The foundation of communication is built on trust. Trust that your words are honest. Trust that your intent is clear. Trust that your actions match your speech. When trust is present, communication becomes easy. When trust is missing, even simple messages feel heavy. People listen more openly to those they trust. They respond faster. They collaborate deeper. They commit stronger. Trust turns conversation into momentum. Another pillar of workplace communication is clarity. Clarity removes friction. Clarity saves time. Clarity prevents mistakes. Clarity reduces stress. Unclear communication creates hesitation. It creates second-guessing. It creates wasted effort. A clear message is a gift. It gives direction. It gives confidence. It gives purpose. In the workplace, clarity is respect. When you communicate clearly, you respect people's time. You respect their effort. You respect their intelligence. Confusion is costly. Clarity is powerful. The next foundation is responsibility. Every professional has a responsibility to communicate in a way that moves work forward, not in a way that protects ego, not in a way that hides mistakes, not in a way that shifts blame, but in a way that builds solutions. Responsible communication owns outcomes. It does not hide behind excuses. It does not escape accountability. It stands in truth. It stands in integrity. It stands in ownership. A workplace grows strong when people speak with responsibility. Another core pillar is alignment. Alignment means everyone is moving in the same direction. Alignment means goals are understood. Alignment means expectations are clear. Alignment means roles are respected. Communication creates alignment. Without communication, teams drift. Departments disconnect, efforts overlap, energy scatters. Alignment turns many individuals into one force. The strongest organizations are not the ones with the most talent. They are the ones with the clearest communication, because clarity multiplies talent. The foundation of workplace communication is also built on emotional intelligence. People are not machines. They are emotional systems. They carry stress, ambition, pressure, fear, and pride into every interaction. Ignoring emotions weakens communication. Understanding emotions strengthens it. Tone matters. Timing matters. Delivery matters. The same message can motivate or demoralize depending on how it is delivered. Emotion is the invisible layer of every conversation. Great communicators read the emotional temperature of a room. They adjust their energy. They adapt their pace. They choose their words with care. They know when to push. They know when to support. They know when to listen. This emotional awareness is not softness, it is strategy. Because people perform better when they feel respected. They think clearer when they feel safe. They work harder when they feel valued. Communication builds culture. Culture shapes behavior. Behavior creates results. The foundation of communication is not built overnight. It is built through consistency. Consistency in tone, consistency in honesty, consistency in follow-through, consistency in respect. People trust patterns. They trust what repeats. They trust what stays true. When your communication is consistent, people feel stable around you. They know what to expect. They know where you stand. They know how to work with you. Stability creates confidence. Confidence fuels productivity. Another foundation is listening. Listening is not waiting to speak. Listening is understanding what is not being said. Listening is reading between the lines. Listening is noticing hesitation. Listening is feeling the emotion behind the words. Most workplace problems exist because people talk more than they listen. Listening reveals real needs. Listening reveals hidden concerns. Listening reveals unspoken tension. Listening turns conversation into insight. The strongest leaders are not the loudest. They are the most attentive. They create space for others to speak. They invite ideas. They encourage honesty. This openness builds loyalty. Loyalty builds strong teams. Strong teams build powerful organizations. The foundation of communication also rests on adaptability. No two people communicate the same way. Some prefer detail. Some prefer summary. Some prefer speed. Some prefer reflection. A great communicator adjusts. They do not force one style on everyone. They learn how others think. They learn how others process information. They meet people where they are. This flexibility creates efficiency. When people feel understood, they respond faster. When people feel heard, they engage deeper. Adaptability turns diversity into strength. The workplace is a web of personalities, cultures, backgrounds, and experiences. Communication is the thread that holds this web together. When the thread is weak, the web collapses. When the thread is strong, the web holds everything in place. The foundation of workplace communication is not built on words alone. It is built on intention. Why are you speaking? What outcome are you trying to create? How will your message move the work forward? Intent shapes impact. When intent is clear, communication is powerful. When intent is confused, communication becomes noise. Strong professionals speak with purpose. They communicate with direction. They connect with intention. They do not speak to be heard. They speak to build. The workplace rewards those who communicate with clarity, responsibility, alignment, emotional intelligence, consistency, listening, adaptability, and intention. These are the pillars. These are the foundations. And upon this foundation, every successful career is built. Because no matter how skilled you are, no matter how intelligent you become, no matter how hard you work, your growth will always be limited by how well you communicate. Master the foundation, and everything else rises faster. Chapter 2. Understanding Workplace Communication Styles. Every workplace is a conversation. Not one conversation, but thousands happening at the same time. Some are fast, some are slow, some are direct, some are subtle. Each conversation carries a style. Each person brings a rhythm. Each interaction reflects a way of thinking. Understanding communication styles is the difference between working with people and struggling with them. Because people do not communicate the same way. They do not process information the same way. They do not express ideas the same way. They do not respond to pressure the same way. When styles clash, friction grows. When styles align, work flows. The workplace is a network of personalities. Communication styles are the language of that network. Some people speak with speed. Their thoughts move fast. Their decisions come quickly. Their words arrive sharp and direct. They value efficiency. They respect clarity. They dislike delays. They want the point. They want the outcome. They want the next step. For them, long explanations feel heavy. Too much emotion feels distracting. Too much detail feels unnecessary. They communicate to move forward. Then there are those who speak with depth. They think before they speak. They analyze before they act. They observe before they decide. They value accuracy. They respect logic. They dislike pressure. They want information. They want structure. They want clarity. For them, rushed decisions feel dangerous. Vague instructions feel stressful. Unclear goals feel chaotic. They communicate to understand. Some people communicate with warmth. Their energy fills the room. Their tone builds connection. Their words create comfort. They value relationships. They respect harmony. They dislike tension. They want trust. They want cooperation. They want emotional safety. For them, cold communication feels distant. Harsh feedback feels painful. Silence feels personal. They communicate to connect. Then there are those who communicate with calm steadiness. They listen deeply. They respond thoughtfully. They stay balanced. They value stability. They respect consistency. They dislike unpredictability. They want clarity. They want fairness. They want reliability. For them, chaos feels exhausting. Conflict feels draining. Pressure feels overwhelming. They communicate to stabilize. These styles exist everywhere, in meetings, in emails, in leadership, in teamwork. Every workplace is a blend of these energies. Problems do not arise because people are wrong. They arise because styles collide. A fast communicator feels blocked by a slow thinker. A detail-oriented person feels ignored by a big-picture speaker. A warm communicator feels dismissed by a direct one. A calm communicator feels overwhelmed by intensity. Each believes the other is difficult. But in truth, they are simply different. Understanding styles removes judgment. It replaces frustration with awareness. Communication becomes easier when you stop expecting people to be like you. The first step is recognizing your own style. How do you process information? How do you express ideas? How do you respond to pressure? How do you handle disagreement? Your style shapes how others experience you. If you are fast, others may feel rushed. If you are detailed, others may feel overwhelmed. If you are emotional, others may feel distracted. If you are quiet, others may feel uncertain. None of these are wrong. They are simply signals. Self-awareness is the foundation of adaptability. When you understand your style, you learn how to adjust it without losing yourself. Adaptation is not pretending. It is aligning. It is meeting others where they are. In the workplace, success belongs to those who can move between styles. The most respected professionals are not the most talented. They are the most adaptable. They speak differently to different people. They adjust their tone. They adjust their pace. They adjust their approach. They understand that one style does not fit all. They read the room. They feel the rhythm. They match the energy. This is communication intelligence. Meetings are the clearest stage for communication styles. Some people dominate the conversation. Some wait for their moment. Some interrupt. Some observe. Some speak confidently. Some speak carefully. Some speak passionately. Some speak rarely. A strong communicator knows how to include everyone. They invite quiet voices. They slow down fast talkers. They focus scattered discussions. They calm emotional tension. They create balance. Balance creates productivity. Emails reveal styles instantly. Some are short and direct. Some are long and detailed. Some are warm and friendly. Some are formal and structured. Misunderstandings often begin here. A short email may feel cold to a warm communicator. A long email may feel overwhelming to a fast thinker. A formal tone may feel distant to a relationship-focused person. A casual tone may feel unprofessional to a structured thinker. Reading style matters as much as writing style. Great communicators read between the lines. They feel intent. They sense urgency. They recognize concern. They respond in a way that meets the emotional need behind the message. Leadership depends on style awareness. A leader who speaks only one language will lose half the team. Some employees need direction. Some need encouragement. Some need structure. Some need freedom. The best leaders adjust their communication. They are firm when needed. They are gentle when needed. They are clear when needed. They are patient when needed. This flexibility builds loyalty. People follow leaders who understand them. Teamwork also depends on style awareness. Teams succeed when members respect differences, when fast thinkers respect careful planners, when creative minds respect analytical minds, when emotional intelligence meets logical precision. Diversity of style is strength. It creates balance. It prevents blind spots. It improves decision-making. But only when communication bridges the gaps. Without understanding, diversity becomes division. With understanding, diversity becomes power. Conflict often arises from style mismatch. One person wants action, another wants discussion. One wants speed, another wants certainty. One wants emotion, another wants logic. Neither is wrong, but both feel unheard. Conflict softens when styles are recognized. You stop attacking the person. You start adjusting the approach. Instead of saying, "You are difficult," you think, "You are different." This shift changes everything. Respect grows. Trust grows. Cooperation grows. The workplace becomes smoother. Communication styles also evolve with pressure. Under stress, fast thinkers become impatient. Detail thinkers become rigid. Warm communicators become sensitive. Calm communicators withdraw. Recognizing stress patterns prevents breakdowns. You learn when to slow down, when to reassure, when to simplify, when to support. This emotional awareness keeps teams strong during challenges. Remote work has added new complexity. Without body language, tone matters more. Then, without presence, words carry more weight. Misinterpretation happens faster. A neutral message can feel cold. A short reply can feel dismissive. A delayed response can feel personal. Understanding styles protects relationships. You learn not to assume. You learn not to react. You learn to clarify. Clarity becomes kindness. Communication styles are shaped by culture, background, experience, and personality. There is no universal style. There is only alignment. The professional world belongs to those who can translate between styles, who can speak speed and structure, who can speak logic and emotion, who can speak vision and detail. These people become bridges, and bridges move organizations forward. When you master workplace communication styles, you become easier to work with, more trusted, more respected, more influential. People seek your input. They value your perspective. They listen when you speak, not because you talk more, but because you understand more. Communication stops being a struggle. It becomes a strength. And once communication becomes a strength, your career accelerates. Because in the workplace, how you communicate decides how far you go. Chapter 3. The Power of Active Listening at Work. The strongest voice in the workplace is not the loudest. It is the most attentive. Active listening is the foundation of trust, leadership, and influence. It is the difference between hearing words and understanding meaning. Most people listen to reply. Few people listen to understand. And that difference shapes every professional relationship. The workplace runs on information, but information only becomes useful when it is received clearly. Listening is not passive. It is a skill. It is an action. It is a form of respect. When someone feels truly heard, they feel valued. When they feel valued, they contribute more. They commit more. They perform better. Active listening is not silence. It is presence. It is the ability to give someone your full attention, without distraction, without judgment, without interruption. In a world filled with noise, attention has become rare, and because it is rare, it has become powerful. Most workplace conflicts begin not because people disagree, but because they feel ignored. When someone feels ignored, they stop sharing. When they stop sharing, problems grow silently. Active listening keeps problems visible. It keeps teams aligned. It keeps work moving forward. Listening builds trust faster than any speech. People trust those who listen. They open up to those who listen. They follow those who listen. Listening creates psychological safety. Safety allows ideas to flow. Safety allows mistakes to surface. Safety allows growth. The moment people feel judged, they close. The moment they feel rushed, they withdraw. The moment they feel dismissed, they disconnect. Active listening prevents all of this. The workplace is full of hidden messages. Stress behind short emails. Concern behind silence. Confusion behind polite agreement. Listening uncovers these layers. It allows you to read between the lines, to sense hesitation, to detect resistance, to feel uncertainty. Great professionals don't wait for problems to explode. They listen early. They listen deeply. They listen consistently. Active listening is built on focus. Focus means your phone is not more important than the person. Focus means your thoughts are not louder than their voice. Focus means your attention is complete. When your attention is divided, your listening is broken. Broken listening leads to broken communication. Full attention changes everything. People speak more clearly. They think more deeply. They express more honestly. Because they feel safe. Active listening also requires emotional awareness. Words carry emotion. Tone reveals intention. Silence signals meaning. Listening only to words is not enough. You must listen to energy. A rushed voice reveals pressure. A slow voice reveals uncertainty. A sharp tone reveals frustration. A soft tone reveals doubt. Active listening catches these signals, and when you respond to emotion, instead of just information, your communication becomes human. The workplace is not built on logic alone. It is built on relationships, and relationships grow through emotional understanding. Active listening also shapes leadership. The strongest leaders do not dominate conversations. They create space. They invite ideas. They encourage feedback. They welcome different perspectives. They listen to understand the team, not to control it. This approach builds loyalty. Employees support leaders who respect their voice. They trust leaders who value their input. Listening turns authority into influence. In meetings, active listening changes the dynamic. Instead of waiting for your turn, you follow the conversation. You connect ideas. You clarify confusion. You build on others' thoughts. The meeting becomes collaborative instead of competitive. Collaboration creates innovation. Active listening also strengthens problem solving. When people feel heard, they share real challenges. They reveal obstacles. They suggest solutions. Problems surface early. Solutions arrive faster. Listening saves time. Many workplace mistakes happen because someone assumed instead of listening. Assumption creates error. Listening creates accuracy. Emails, messages, and calls also demand active listening. It means reading carefully, understanding intent, recognizing urgency. A short message may hide pressure. A delayed reply may hide confusion. Active listening in written communication requires attention to detail and emotional awareness. It prevents misinterpretation. It protects relationships. It strengthens collaboration. Active listening also reduces conflict. When people feel understood, they soften. When they feel heard, they open. Arguments calm when listening begins. Defensiveness fades. Resistance lowers. Trust returns. Listening transforms tension into dialogue. Dialogue creates resolution. In fast-paced workplaces, listening often feels slow. But what feels slow is actually efficient, because misunderstandings cost more time than attention ever will. Active listening creates clarity. Clarity creates speed. It prevents rework. It prevents delays. It prevents frustration. Listening is not a weakness. It is a strategic advantage. Professionals who listen well build stronger networks. They gain better insights. They make better decisions. They become the person others turn to, because people want to be heard. Active listening also shapes your reputation. You become known as reliable, as thoughtful, as respectful. Your presence feels calming. Your conversations feel productive. People trust your judgment because they know you understand the full picture. Listening also improves negotiation. When you listen deeply, you uncover real needs. You understand priorities. You detect pressure points. This knowledge strengthens your position. You negotiate with insight, not guesswork. Listening gives you leverage. Active listening is also a form of leadership presence. When you listen without rushing, you signal confidence. You show that you are not threatened by ideas. You show that you value contribution. You show that you lead with maturity. Presence is felt through attention. People respect those who are fully present. The habit of listening changes your mindset. You stop trying to prove yourself. You start trying to understand. Understanding builds influence. Influence builds leadership. Leadership builds opportunity. The workplace rewards those who can connect people, align ideas, and move teams forward. All of this begins with listening. Active listening is not learned overnight. It is built through daily practice, through patience, through curiosity, through presence. Every conversation becomes training. Each interaction sharpens your awareness. Over time, listening becomes instinct. And when listening becomes instinct, your communication transforms. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop assuming. You start understanding. You stop missing signals. You start reading people. This awareness becomes your advantage. In a world where everyone wants to speak, the listener becomes the leader. Because the listener sees what others miss, feels what others ignore, understands what others rush past. Active listening is not just a skill. It is a mindset. It is a presence. It is a power. And in the workplace, those who master this power, move further, faster, and stronger than those who only know how to talk. Chapter 4. Speaking with clarity and confidence at work. Clarity is power. Confidence is influence. When these two meet, your voice becomes leadership. In the workplace, people do not follow titles. They follow clarity. They trust confidence. They respond to certainty. The strongest professionals are not always the most knowledgeable. They are the ones who can express ideas clearly, deliver messages confidently, and guide conversations with calm authority. Speaking well is not about sounding impressive. It is about being understood. Every word you speak carries direction. Every sentence shapes perception. Every tone sends a signal. Your voice is not just sound, it is presence. When you speak with clarity, people listen without confusion. When you speak with confidence, people trust your judgment. This is the foundation of influence. Many professionals struggle with speaking, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack structure. They have ideas, but their thoughts arrive scattered. They have insight, but their message feels tangled. Clarity is not about speaking more, it is about speaking clean. Clean communication removes friction. It moves ideas forward. It saves time. It builds momentum. The first step to clarity is intention. Before you speak, you must know what you want to create. Are you informing? Are you guiding? Are you aligning? Are you deciding? When intention is clear, your words find direction. Without intention, speech becomes noise. Professionals who speak with clarity enter every conversation with purpose. They know the outcome they want. They shape their message accordingly. This focus sharpens their voice. Clarity also depends on simplicity. Complex ideas do not need complex language. They need simple structure. When your message is simple, it travels faster, it lands stronger, it sticks longer. People remember what they understand. They forget what confuses them. Simplicity is not weakness. It is mastery. The most respected speakers can explain difficult idea in easy language. This skill makes them trusted. It makes them reliable. It makes them leaders. Confidence is built through ownership. When you believe in your message, your voice steadies, your posture strengthens, your tone settles. People feel certainty before they hear logic. Confidence is felt in presence, not volume, not speed, not force. It is felt in calm delivery, in steady rhythm, in grounded energy. Rushing weakens authority. Slow, deliberate speech strengthens it. When you slow down, you signal control. You show comfort with the room. You command attention naturally. Confidence also lives in posture. Your body speaks before your words. A grounded stance, open shoulders, relaxed breath. These cues signal leadership. A tense body creates tension in others. A relaxed body creates trust. Your physical presence amplifies your message. Eye contact builds connection. Not staring, not avoiding, but steady, natural engagement. When you look at people while speaking, they feel included, they feel respected, they feel seen. This strengthens your impact. Your voice also shapes perception. A steady tone builds credibility. A shaky tone creates doubt. A rushed tone creates pressure. A flat tone kills engagement. Great speakers modulate their voice. They rise when they inspire. They soften when they reassure. They slow when they explain. They pause when they emphasize. These shifts keep attention alive. Pauses are powerful. Silence gives weight to words. It creates anticipation. It allows ideas to land. Those who rush through speech sound uncertain. Those who pause sound confident. Silence is not empty. It is authority. Confidence also comes from preparation. You speak better when you think clearly beforehand. Structure gives freedom. When your thoughts are organized, your delivery becomes smooth. Preparation removes fear. Fear distorts clarity. When you know your message, you own the room. But confidence is not perfection. It is comfort with imperfection. You do not need flawless words. You need authentic delivery. People trust realness more than polish. Authenticity builds connection. When you speak as yourself, your voice carries truth. Your energy feels grounded. Your message feels human. People respond to human voices. Clarity also depends on listening. Great speakers are great listeners. They adjust their message based on the audience. They notice confusion. They sense hesitation. They read reactions. Then they adapt. They explain again. They simplify. They reframe. This flexibility makes them effective. Speaking is not a monologue. It is a dialogue. The best communicators build understanding in real time. They watch faces. They feel the room. They guide the energy. They do not just deliver information. They create alignment. Confidence grows through experience. Every conversation is training. Every meeting is practice. Every presentation is growth. The more you speak, the more comfortable you become. Comfort creates confidence. Confidence creates authority. Authority creates opportunity. Fear of speaking holds many professionals back. They stay silent. They hesitate. They hide ideas But silence hides potential. Your voice is your tool. Your ideas need expression. The workplace rewards those who step forward, not with arrogance, with clarity, not with noise, with presence. Confidence is not dominance, it is direction. You guide without force. You lead without pressure. You influence without control. This is true professional power. Clear communication also builds trust. When your message is consistent, people believe you. When your words match your actions, people respect you. When your tone matches your intent, people follow you. Trust is built through reliability. Reliability comes from clarity. Confidence grows from consistency. The workplace needs voices that bring certainty in chaos, direction in confusion, calm in pressure. Be that voice. Every time you speak, you shape your reputation. Are you the person who brings clarity, who simplifies complexity, who leads with confidence? Or are you the one who hesitates, who over-explains, who avoids the spotlight? Your voice defines your path. Speaking with clarity and confidence does not require charisma. It requires presence. It requires preparation. It requires intention. When these come together, your words carry weight. People listen, they trust, they follow, and your professional world expands. Because in the workplace, those who speak with clarity and confidence are the ones who rise. Chapter 5. Managing difficult conversations with professional strength. Every workplace has difficult conversations. They arrive without warning. They challenge comfort. They test character. They appear in moments of disagreement, in moments of correction, in moments of disappointment, in moments when expectations collide. How you handle these moments defines your professional strength. Difficult conversations are not failures. They are opportunities, opportunities to build trust, opportunities to show leadership, opportunities to demonstrate emotional maturity. Weak professionals avoid them. Strong professionals master them. A difficult conversation does not become easy because you ignore it. It becomes heavier. Unspoken tension grows. Misunderstanding deepens. Resentment builds. Silence does not protect peace. It protects problems. Professional strength begins with courage. The courage to address issues directly. The courage to speak with honesty. The courage to listen without defensiveness. This courage separates leaders from followers. Difficult conversations require emotional control, not suppression, not denial, but awareness. When emotion controls you, the conversation becomes conflict. When you control emotion, the conversation becomes resolution. Your internal state shapes the outcome. Before any difficult conversation, you must prepare yourself emotionally. Calm is your foundation. Clarity is your weapon. Respect is your shield. If you enter with anger, you invite resistance. If you enter with ego, you create distance. If you enter with fear, you lose authority. But if you enter with calm strength, you create safety. Safety allows honesty. Honesty creates solutions. Difficult conversations are not about winning. They are about understanding. The moment you try to dominate, the other person defends. The moment you try to control, the other person resists. Professional strength is quiet. It does not need to overpower. It does not need to intimidate. It leads through clarity. The strongest voice in a difficult moment is the calmest one. Your tone matters more than your words. Your posture matters more than your argument. Your energy matters more than your logic. People do not respond to facts first. They respond to emotion. If they feel attacked, they close. If they feel blamed, they resist. If they feel embarrassed, they withdraw. But if they feel respected, they listen. If they feel understood, they open. If they feel safe, they engage. Professional strength creates this safety. The first rule of difficult conversation is respect. Respect does not mean agreement. It means dignity. You can disagree firmly, without being aggressive. You can correct clearly, and without being cruel. You can confront directly, without being disrespectful. This balance is mastery. The second rule is responsibility. Strong professionals own their words. They speak from facts. They avoid assumptions. They avoid exaggeration. They do not attack character. They address behavior. They focus on impact. They focus on outcome. They focus on solutions. Blame creates defensiveness. Responsibility creates progress. The third rule is presence. Presence means you are fully there, not distracted, not rushed, not reactive. Presence allows you to listen deeply, to respond thoughtfully, to guide the conversation. When you are present, you read emotional signals. You feel shifts in tone. You sense hesitation. This awareness helps you navigate the moment. Difficult conversations require patience. People process feedback differently. Some react immediately. Some shut down. Some push back. Some need time. Professional strength does not rush reactions. It allows space. It lets the moment breathe. It gives the other person room to absorb the message. Rushing creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. Patience creates understanding. Strong communicators do not argue. They explain. They do not accuse. They clarify. They do not threaten. They guide. This approach changes everything. Conflict becomes conversation. Tension becomes dialogue. Problems become plans. Another pillar of professional strength is emotional neutrality. Neutrality does not mean coldness. It means stability. You do not let personal feelings distort professional decisions. You do not let ego control your tone. You do not let frustration turn into hostility. You remain centered. This center becomes your power. People respect those who remain calm under pressure. They trust those who stay fair in conflict. They follow those who lead with balance. Professional strength also requires clarity of purpose. Why are you having this conversation? What outcome do you want? What change needs to happen? Without purpose, difficult conversations become emotional battles. With purpose, they become constructive exchanges. Purpose keeps the discussion focused. It prevents drifting into personal attacks. It keeps the conversation aligned with work. Strong professionals always return to the objective. They remind everyone that the goal is progress, not pride. Difficult conversations also demand listening. You cannot solve a problem you do not fully understand. You must hear the other side. You must understand their perspective. You must recognize their concerns. Listening does not mean surrender. It means intelligence. It gives you information. It gives you context. It gives you leverage. When people feel heard, they soften. When they soften, solutions become possible. Professional strength is built on empathy. Empathy does not excuse poor behavior. It explains it. Understanding why someone acts a certain way helps you address the real issue. Sometimes performance drops because of stress. Sometimes mistakes happen because of overload. Sometimes conflict grows because of miscommunication. Empathy allows you to respond accurately. It turns reaction into strategy. Another aspect of strength is emotional containment. Difficult conversations can trigger strong reactions: anger, frustration, disappointment, defensiveness. You must contain these emotions without denying them. Containment means you acknowledge emotion without letting it take control. You breathe. You pause. You choose your words carefully. This control keeps the conversation productive. When you lose control, the conversation loses direction. Professional strength keeps direction alive. Boundaries are also essential. You must protect, respect. You must protect professionalism. You must protect the integrity of the conversation. If the discussion turns personal, you bring it back to work. That becomes emotional, you slow it down. If it becomes hostile, you reset the tone. You lead the emotional space. This leadership is not about authority. It is about stability. People follow stability. Difficult conversations also test your confidence. If you doubt your position, your message weakens. If you hesitate, your authority fades. Confidence does not mean rigidity. It means conviction. You know why you are speaking. You know what needs to change. You know what outcome you want. This certainty anchors your presence. Strong professionals do not avoid discomfort. They use it. They understand that growth comes through challenge, that improvement comes through feedback, that excellence comes through correction. They welcome hard conversation because they know these moments shape strong teams. Avoidance creates stagnation. Engagement creates evolution. Professional strength also shows in how you close a difficult conversation. You do not leave it unresolved. You do not leave confusion. You do not leave bitterness. You summarize the outcome. You confirm understanding. You align on next steps. This closure creates momentum. It turns tension into direction. A well-managed difficult conversation strengthens relationships. It builds respect. It deepens trust. It shows maturity. People admire those who can handle pressure with grace. They respect those who face challenges with integrity. They trust those who speak truth with kindness. Managing difficult conversation is not a soft skill. It is a leadership skill. It determines how you are perceived. It shapes your reputation. It defines your influence. The workplace is full of challenges, but challenges do not destroy careers. Poor communication does. When you master difficult conversations, you become resilient. You become reliable. You become respected. People come to you when things get hard. They seek your guidance. They trust your judgment. Because you do not hide from problems, you handle them. This is professional strength. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is not emotional. It is calm. It is clear. It is controlled. And in every difficult moment, it becomes your greatest asset. Chapter 6. Building trust through workplace communication. Trust is the invisible structure of every successful workplace. It holds teams together. It strengthens leadership. It accelerates collaboration. When trust is present, work flows. When trust is missing, even simple tasks feel heavy. Trust is not built through promises. It is built through patterns. People do not trust what you say once. They trust what you do repeatedly. In the workplace, communication is the language of trust. Every message you send, every conversation you hold, every response you give, all of it either builds trust or slowly breaks it. Trust is emotional safety. It is the belief that someone will treat you fairly, that they will speak honestly, that they will act consistently. When people feel safe, they contribute more, they take initiative, they share ideas, they take responsibility. When people feel unsafe, they protect themselves, they hide mistakes, they avoid risk, they withdraw effort. Trust determines performance. The strongest organizations are not the strictest. They are the most trustworthy. Trust allows speed. Trust allows autonomy. Trust allows innovation. Without trust, everything slows down. People double-check. They hesitate. They wait for approval. They avoid accountability. Trust removes friction. Workplace trust begins with honesty. Not harsh honesty, but clear truth. People need to know where they stand. They need to understand expectations. They need transparency in decisions. When communication is vague, trust weakens. When information is hidden, trust erodes. When messages change, trust collapses. Consistency builds belief. Belief builds confidence. Confidence builds loyalty. Trust also grows through reliability. When you say you will do something, and you do it, trust grows. When you follow through, trust strengthens. When you disappear, trust breaks. Reliability turns words into credibility. People trust those who show up, who respond, who deliver. Silence breaks trust faster than mistakes. A delayed response creates doubt. A missed deadline creates uncertainty. An ignored message creates resentment. Communication is a commitment. When you speak, you create expectation. Meeting that expectation is how trust forms. Trust also depends on respect. Respect in tone, respect in timing, respect in delivery. People feel disrespected when they are interrupted, when they are dismissed, when they are spoken down to. Disrespect damages trust instantly, but respect restores it. Listening without judgment, responding with patience, speaking with dignity. These small behaviors build emotional safety. Trust also grows through fairness. People watch how you treat others. They observe your decisions. They feel your bias. If you play favorites, trust breaks. If you shift standards, trust fades. If you change rules without explanation, trust collapses. Fairness creates stability. Stability creates security. Security creates trust. Communication must match action. Words without action feel empty. Action without explanation feels cold. The strongest trust is built when communication and behavior align. When your message matches your conduct, people believe you. When your values match your decisions, people follow you. Trust also depends on vulnerability. Not emotional oversharing, but professional transparency, admitting mistakes, owning responsibility, asking for help when needed. These actions humanize you. They show integrity. They show humility. They show strength. People trust those who do not pretend to be perfect. Perfection feels distant. Honesty feels real. Trust grows where realness lives. Workplace trust also requires clarity of intent. People want to know why decisions are made, why changes happen, why expectations shift. When leaders communicate intent, they build understanding. When intent is hidden, people assume the worst. Assumption destroys trust. Clear communication prevents rumor. It prevents confusion. It prevents resistance. Trust thrives in light. It dies in shadow. Trust also depends on emotional intelligence. People do not trust cold authority. They trust grounded leadership. They trust leaders who listen, who care, who understand pressure. They trust managers who support growth, who recognize effort, who give feedback with respect. Emotion shapes perception. Perception shapes trust. A harsh tone breaks trust. A calm tone builds it. A rushed conversation weakens trust. A thoughtful one strengthens it. Trust is built in moments, in how you greet someone, in how you respond to stress, in how you handle mistakes, in how you speak under pressure. These moments add up. Over time, they form reputation. Your reputation is your trust profile. People decide whether to trust you long before you realize it. They feel your consistency. They notice your presence. They read your intentions. Trust is intuitive. You cannot demand it. You must earn it. You earn it through how you communicate every single day. Trust also depends on boundaries. When people feel their time is respected, trust grows. When people feel their ideas are valued, trust strengthens. When people feel their space is honored, trust deepens. Boundaries protect relationships. They prevent burnout. They prevent resentment. They prevent emotional exhaustion. Trust grows when people feel safe, not only in conversation, but in collaboration. The modern workplace is built on interdependence. Teams rely on each other. Departments connect through shared goals. Leaders depend on execution. Trust makes this system work. Without trust, everything becomes fragile. Deadlines slip, commitment fades, ownership disappears. But with trust, people step up. They take responsibility. They protect the team. Trust turns individuals into allies. Trust also survives conflict. When communication stays respectful, disagreements are normal. Different opinions are healthy. But how you handle disagreement determines whether trust grows or breaks. When you listen, when you stay calm, when you seek understanding, trust deepens. When you attack, when you dismiss, when you dominate, trust disappears. Conflict does not destroy trust. Poor communication does. Trust is resilient when communication is strong. It bends, it adapts, it evolves. But when communication becomes careless, trust becomes fragile. The strongest professionals protect trust. They guard their words, they choose their tone, they honor commitments. They understand that trust is not a soft concept. It is a business asset. It reduces turnover. It improves productivity. It strengthens culture. A workplace built on trust does not need constant supervision. People self-manage. They self-correct. They self-improve. Trust creates ownership, and ownership creates excellence. Building trust through communication is not a strategy. It is a responsibility. It requires consistency. It requires patience. It requires integrity. But the reward is powerful. You become someone people rely on, someone people respect, someone people follow. Because when trust is present, leadership is natural, and communication becomes more than just conversation. It becomes connection. It becomes commitment. It becomes culture. This is the true power of trust in the workplace. Chapter 7. Emotional Intelligence in Workplace Communication. The workplace is not built only on logic. It is built on emotion. Behind every decision is pressure. Behind every deadline is stress. Behind every mistake is fear. Behind every success is confidence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to see what is not being said, to feel what is not being shown, to understand what is not written. It is the silent force that decides whether communication builds connection or creates distance. Most workplace problems are not technical. They are emotional. Projects fail because people feel misunderstood. Teams collapse because trust breaks. Leaders lose influence because they ignore emotions. Emotional intelligence turns communication into leadership. It allows you to speak with awareness, listen with empathy, respond with control, and in doing so, it transforms how people experience you. Emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness. You cannot understand others. If you do not understand yourself. Your emotions shape your tone. Your stress shapes your reactions. Your fear shapes your decisions. When you are unaware of your inner state, your communication becomes unpredictable. You may sound harsh without meaning to. You may withdraw without realizing. You may react defensively instead of thinking clearly. Self-awareness brings control. When you recognize your emotional triggers, you stop being controlled by them. You pause. You breathe. You choose your response. This is emotional leadership. People respect those who stay calm under pressure. They trust those who remain steady in chaos. They follow those who respond, not react. Emotional intelligence is also awareness of others. Every colleague carries invisible weight, deadlines, expectations, family pressure, career uncertainty. People do not leave emotion at the door when they enter the office. They bring it with them. A sharp email may hide stress. A quiet teammate may hide overwhelm. A defensive reaction may hide insecurity. When you see behavior without seeing emotion, you misunderstand people. But when you read emotion behind behavior, you understand intention. Understanding creates patience. Patience creates respect. Respect builds trust. Emotional intelligence turns conflict into conversation. When tension rises, emotion is always present. Ignoring emotion makes conflict worse. Acknowledging emotion makes resolution possible. People want to feel understood before they can listen. When someone feels heard, they soften. When they soften, they open. When they open, solutions appear. Emotion is the gateway to cooperation. The emotionally intelligent professional knows that logic alone cannot move people. They commit when they feel respected. They perform when they feel valued. Emotional intelligence creates this environment. It shapes culture. A culture of fear kills creativity. A culture of pressure kills motivation. A culture of blame kills ownership. But a culture of understanding creates excellence. Communication sets this tone. Every conversation sends a message beyond words. Your tone tells people whether they are safe. Your timing tells them whether they matter. Your reaction tells them whether they are respected. Emotional intelligence is present in these small moments. A calm response during a mistake, a supportive tone during pressure, a patient explanation during confusion. These moments shape perception. Over time, perception becomes reputation. People begin to see you as stable, as fair, as trustworthy. And trust is the foundation of influence. Emotion also affects performance. A stressed employee cannot think clearly. A fearful employee avoids risk. A discouraged employee disengages. Emotional intelligence allows you to read these signals early. You notice changes in energy. You sense shifts in tone. You recognize withdrawal. And you respond before performance drops. You ask with care. You listen with patience. You support with intention. This is leadership through awareness. Emotional intelligence also improves feedback. Feedback is emotional by nature. It touches pride. It touches identity. It touches self-worth. Delivered poorly, it creates resistance. Delivered wisely, it creates growth. Emotionally intelligent feedback is firm but respectful, clear but supportive, direct but humane. It focuses on behavior, not character. It points to solutions, not blame. This approach builds motivation instead of fear. People improve faster when they feel supported. Emotional intelligence also shapes how you receive feedback. Many professionals become defensive. They protect ego. They reject criticism. But emotional intelligence turns feedback into fuel. You reflect before responding. You learn instead of resisting. This maturity accelerates growth. The workplace rewards those who can grow quickly. Emotionally intelligent professionals grow faster because they are open to learning. They do not see feedback as attack. They see it as investment. This mindset makes them unstoppable. Emotional intelligence also strengthens teamwork. Teams succeed when members feel safe to speak, safe to disagree, safe to share ideas. When fear enters a team, silence follows. Silence kills innovation. Emotionally intelligent communication creates openness. People contribute freely. They challenge respectfully. They collaborate willingly. This openness becomes strength. Emotional intelligence also matters in leadership. Leaders set emotional tone. A calm leader creates stability. A reactive leader creates anxiety. A supportive leader creates loyalty. A distant leader creates disengagement. People do not leave companies. They leave environments. Emotionally intelligent leaders build environment where people want to stay. They communicate vision with inspiration. They deliver direction with clarity. They manage pressure with composure. Their presence alone reduces stress. This is leadership beyond authority. Emotional intelligence also protects against burnout. Burnout does not come from work alone. It comes from emotional overload, unspoken tension, unresolved conflict, constant pressure. When emotion is ignored, it accumulates. Emotionally intelligent communication releases this pressure. People feel supported. They feel seen. They feel valued. This emotional relief restores energy. Energy fuels performance. Performance fuels success. Emotional intelligence is not softness. It is strength. It allows you to stay centered when others lose control. It allows you to remain kind without becoming weak. It allows you to be firm without becoming harsh. This balance is professional mastery. The workplace is changing. Automation is rising. Skills are evolving. Competition is growing. But one thing will never change. People will always work with people, and people will always respond to emotion. Those who master emotional intelligence will always rise, because they communicate with awareness. They lead with empathy. They influence with respect. They build teams that trust them. They create cultures that perform. They become professionals others admire. Emotional intelligence is not an extra skill. It is the core skill. It is what turns communication into leadership, and leadership into impact. When you master emotional intelligence, can you no longer just speak at work. You connect. You guide, you inspire, and your presence becomes a force that shapes every room you enter. Final ending. You have now reached the end of this journey, but what you have gained is only the beginning. Understanding communication for the workplace is not about learning what to say. It is about learning how to lead. Through clarity, through trust, through emotional intelligence, through presence, through purpose. Every chapter has given you a tool. Every lesson has given you direction. Every insight has given you power. Now it is your turn to carry this knowledge forward, into meetings, into conversations, into leadership moments, into everyday work. Let your words build trust. Let your presence create confidence. Let your communication shape culture. Because when you master workplace communication, you do not just succeed. You influence. You lead. You leave impact. And that is what defines a true professional.